Greetings everyone, my name is Leah and welcome to the Ctrlart modeling series. In previous video we've created the boy's upper body. We modeled the jacket, collar, buttons and a tie. In this video we're going to start with the modeling of the boy's lower body, legs, shoes and shoelaces. I'm working in program Autodesk Maya 2019, but you can also model in older versions with no major problems. Just to remind you, you can find and download all of the resources of this lesson in the link in the description. Right, let's go and continue our modeling. To start, select everything with left click. Right click the jacket layer to put your selection there. What we will do now is create a leg. So, let's turn off the visibility of the layer and create a new cylinder. Select it on the shelf. Go to Inputs and change the number at subdivision axis to 8, subdivision height to 3 and subdivision caps to 0. Delete the caps. Snap the pivot point to the bottom of the cylinder. Hold V and move it. This way it will snap to the vertices. Then press D or W to deselect the pivot point. Move the cylinder to the edge of the pants. First, press R to scale it on all axes, then only in height. Grab the vertices at the edge and pull them into the shape. Make sure pants are slightly away from the middle of the grid. We need to make the inner part of the pants. Select the entire bottom face loop, go to Edit Mesh and select Duplicate. In Object Mode, reset the position of pivot point so it will be on the middle of the new mesh. Select the center pivot in the shelf. Scale it inward by X and Z axis. Don't scale it by the height. Now we have to reverse the faces. Go to Mesh Display and click Reverse. When done, select both objects, go to Mesh and combine them. We have to fill these holes between them. The easiest way would be with a bridge. Select both edge loops with double left click while holding Shift, then go to Modeling Toolkit and select Bridge. Now, make another cylinder for the lower part of the leg. Go to Inputs and change the number at subdivision axis to 8, subdivision height to 3 and subdivision caps to 0. Delete the caps as we did before. Then, press D and snap the pivot point to the bottom while holding V. Deselect the pivot point and move the cylinder to where his ankle starts. Scale the cylinder on all axes to the ankle, then on height to the inner edge of pants. Press 5 to get back into shaded view. Go to the side view. To do so, hold space and left click on Maya, then move your mouse to the view you want. In our case, you want to select right view. Scale the pants by faces, then by edges. Do this to pants and lower leg. Move the lowest edge loop to the edge of the socks, then scale it by Y-axis. Move the other edge loop to the knee and scale it. Make leg wider at the top as well. Enable edge flow in multi-cut options and add another cut at the sock's edge. Hold Ctrl-Shift to make a cut in the middle. Select the middle cut and scale it on all axes. Add another cut to the leg where his calf starts. To straighten the edge loop, scale it on the Y-axis. Add another edge loop so we can get the roundness of the calf. Straighten the loop, then scale it. We've been fixing the leg on the side view, so let's switch between front view and side view often. Adjust the mesh so it matches to the reference on both sides as much as possible. Now we have to give more divisions to the knee so it can bend properly during animation. We will do the knee in the same way as we've done the elbow. In multi-cut, disable edge flow and add a cut above and below the knee. Rotate them with the slide activated. Hold Ctrl-Shift while rotating the edge loop. Rotate the edge loops so that at the front of the knee they're further apart and that they're closer to the back. When done, scale the knee and make it less squarish. Move or scale the components around until you're happy with the shape. Now that we have the lower and upper leg done, select both of them, then go to Mesh and select Combine. What we have to do is to connect these two meshes with faces. First, let's make sure they're at the same height. As you can see, they aren't. Select the entire edge loop of the lower leg and hold V to snap it upwards. When you have that, bridge the hole. You can do that by selecting both edge loops or edge by edge. If you want to repeat the last command you've used, press G like I'm doing now. Now that we have a leg, we need to make a shoe for it. Create a cube and move the pivot point to the bottom of it. Hold V to snap it. Then move it to the shoe soles. I'll snap the pivot point to the back of the shoe so it will be easier for me to scale. Scale it in height and length so it covers the shoe area. When done, we need to add a cut to where the shoe bends. Turn off the edge flow in multicut. Select both vertices with holding and dragging left click and move them to the shoelace knot. I'll move others a bit. Let's add more cuts into the shoe. Add 2 cuts in the middle where shoe bends. Grab all vertices while holding and dragging left click and move them around. I'll be moving vertices in this manner for the shoe. Drag left click to select vertices on both sides. Now go to Object Mode and move it closer to the leg. I'll add some more edge loops and adjust them a bit. We have a very basic shape of the shoe, but it's still too robust. Let's add another cut, but this time horizontally. Straighten the edge loop, scale it by Y-axis, then slide it upward. Add another cut and straighten it. Move the vertices at edges to form the shoe a bit and slide the vertices of the upper edge to form the shoe's edge and tongue. Slide the vertices of lower edge loop. Then add another cut into the shoe to form the sole. I'll move the edge loop a bit away to add another one. Slide, move or adjust vertices to get a nicer shape of the shoe. We have a shoe that looks good on the side, but at the front, yikes! Let's fix that. Add another cut into the shoe. Hold Ctrl Shift to snap it right in the middle. Have the edge flow disabled. Select the faces on the side of the shoe and enable symmetry. If you realize in this step that the shoe is not symmetrical, it's not a problem. Delete the half you're not happy with, then use Mirror to mirror it to the other side. But because I've kept selecting the vertices with left click and dragging the mouse, I have no such problems. Now that the faces are selected, move the pivot point to the bottom. Scale it on all axes and add some new cuts with multicut to get the volume. Have edge flow enabled. Let's make the shoe at the bend slightly narrower. Select the edge flow in the middle, enable soft selection and scale it. Use soft selection if needed to scale the edge loops so we get a nicer shape of the shoe on all sides. Select the faces at the bottom of the sole and let's straighten them. They became wiggly because of enabled edge flow when we made cuts. Do not select the faces at the bend. Use Scale tool to flatten the sole. I'll try to get a smoother transition from the top to the side using average vertices. Select vertices, edges or faces, then go to Edit Mesh and select Average Vertices. Go to the shoe hole where foot goes in and move vertices around a bit. Then select faces of the hole and delete them away. Select the faces where the shoe tongue is and use Extrude. Push faces down into the shoe. If you want to be specific, you can also type numbers into Local Translate Z. Delete the upper faces away from the shoe where the shoe tongue pokes out from the shoe. I'll slide vertices a bit to get a smoother transition to the tongue. I'll turn on two view panels again and change the view to side view. Select the two tongue edges and extrude them out. Select the tongue area that we extruded and let's go to Edit Mesh and select Duplicate. Grab the duplicated surface and move it back a bit. Center the pivot and move it as far back as you want the tongue to be thick. Don't forget to reverse it. Select both objects and combine them. Use Bridge to connect them. Now we must connect the shoe to the leg. Select the edges of the shoe, but not the tongue's edges. Extrude them out and scale them slightly outwards. Zoom in closer and select this edge and extrude it. Then target weld it to the shoe tongue like this. Do the same to the other side. Select the edge, extrude it and weld it. We want to create an extra quad here. Bridge the holes on both sides. Let's isolate the shoe. Select the long edges and extrude them out. We still have holes at the shoe tongue, so bridge them. Great! Because we filled those two holes, the tongue is finally connected with the shoe and the shoe is now ready to be connected to the leg. But the problem that we have at the moment is that the shoe has 12 edges inside, but the leg has 8. What we can do is select the entire edge loop and extrude it, then scale it in. Use target weld to merge vertices at the middle part of the shoe. When you do that, delete the edge that is in the middle. This way, we still have a quad there, albeit a weird looking one. I'll adjust some vertices around a bit because I want the vertices to form a circular shape. Now, unisolate the shoe, select the shoe and the leg and combine them. Select both edge loops and bridge them. Yeah, looks pretty okay. I'll slide the vertices just a bit and yep, I'm happy with it. Okay, select multi-cut with enabled edge flow and add another cut into the ankle area for animation. Make some more adjustments to the shoe. I'll try to smoothen the edges a bit. You can use soft selection or average vertices. Make sure that the sole edges are straight. Awesome! We have a shoe, but the shoe still needs shoelaces. Let's create a new cylinder and move it a bit away so it's not clipping with the shoe. Go to Inputs and change the number at subdivision axis to 10, subdivision caps to 2. In Edit mode, delete everything except the top, and at the top, delete the inner triangles away, so that we are left with this kind of circular face loop. Select the inner edge loop and scale it out. We want to move the pivot point to the most right vertice, so we will be able to make a nice shape of shoelace loop. Click D and snap it with a V. I'll move it closer. In Edit mode, select the edge of the loop, then activate soft selection. Hold B and drag the mouse while holding left click to adjust the strength of soft selection. Scale the loop to the teardrop shape. Select the same edge again and rotate it with soft selection still turned on. Do the same on the other side. In Object mode, move the pivot point, then move the loop to around the middle of the shoe where the knot would be. Rotate it a bit and scale it down. Great! Now let's make a knot. Create a new cube and press Free to smooth it. Go to Modify, Convert and select Smooth Mesh Preview to Polygons. If the edge turns yellow, like in my case, it means your soft selection is still turned on. So just turn it off. Select every other edge loop and Ctrl-Delete them. Scale it down and move it to the shoe. I'll rotate the shoelace a bit. Make some adjustments and there we go. Make the rest of the shoelace. Create a new plane. Click on the plane icon on the shelf. Go to Inputs, click Polyplane and change the number at subdivision width to 4 and subdivision height to 1. Scale it into a thin strip, then move it to the shoe tongue. In Edit mode, move edges slightly up so we get the concave shape. I'll center pivot and place the lace to the shoe. Hold V and snap the shoelace to the middle. Now we want to duplicate special this lace. Let's freeze the scale. Right-click on the channel box, then go to Freeze and select Scale. After that, go to Edit and open Options of the Duplicate Special. Because we already used Duplicate Special before, we can just click Apply. Move the new copy and create another one. Click Apply. If the laces go through shoe, like mine do, just adjust them in Edit mode. I'll rotate the knot a bit and the loop. Okay, so now prepare this shoelace to be copied to the other side. First, make sure pivot orientation is set to World. Hold W and left click and select World. There we go. Then press D to select pivot point. Hold V and snap the point to the middle of the knot. Press D or W to deselect it. Freeze the scale before duplicating. Right-click on the channel box, go to Freeze and select Scale. Go to Edit and open Options of the Duplicate Special. We can leave all the settings as they are, but in Scale we have to insert -1 to the left column. The columns go by X, Y and Z, and we know we need to copy the mesh over X-axis because of the axis indicator. Press Apply. I don't mind that the lace got duplicated slightly rotated, but if you want the perfect copy, reset all channels, not just the scale. As you know, when you make a shoelace knot, there are strands of it coming from the knot. So, insert a new plane by clicking the plane icon on the shelf. Go to Inputs and change the number at subdivision height to 4 and subdivision width to 1. Press D to snap the pivot point to the start of the lace and move it to the shoe. I'll put it under the knot. Okay, there. Select the end of the lace, enable soft selection and rotate it. Adjust it until you're happy with it. Change the pivot point orientation to help yourself out. When you're happy with the lace, move pivot point to the middle of the knot. Press right-click on the channel box, go to Freeze and select Scale. Go to Edit and press Duplicate Special. Rotate it around to get it into a position you would like. Great! Now we have the leg completed. Go to the outline and name the meshes. You can name them however you wish, but I'll use shoe, underscore and then whatever part it is. And group them. Select the meshes either in the scene or in the outline, then press Ctrl G to create the group. I'll create lace group. Let's rename the leg as well to leg_R. R as in right. Now select both and rename leg_right again. I'll go back and add mesh to the leg. Let's delete all history, go to Edit, then delete all by type and select history. Rename everything else. I'll name buttons. You can just copy-paste the name and change the numbers. Group them into button group. Let's name tie, jacket, then select all of them with Shift and left click and group all of them. Then delete history again. So now mirror the leg over to the other side. A side note, always duplicate or mirror mesh, not the group. Select the leg and move the pivot point to the middle of the grid. If your numbers are mixed in the channel box, we need to freeze the mesh transformation. Go to Modify and select Freeze Transformation. Make sure the pivot orientation is set to World. Now you're set. To mirror mesh, go to Mesh and select Mirror. Open the square to open options. Reset settings of it. Then change the mirror direction to plus, then click apply. Well, the mirror worked, though we cannot see it. Sometimes this happens, and if it does, switch the cut geometry to off. We have two legs, but they're clipping with one another, and that's something we don't want. So change the number to 0.01 to merge threshold. We want legs to be separated. Now, the shoelaces are still on one leg. That's because we only copied the leg, but not the laces. Let's go into Shoelaces group, select all objects within the group, then go to Edit and select Duplicate Special. Reset the settings and select Instance. Leave any other settings as they are and click Duplicate Special. You will see the duplicated items highlighted in the outline. Press Ctrl G to group them. I'll rename the group to shoe_laces_L and delete number 1 from the names. When done, select the group and move its pivot point to the middle of the grid, like this, if it isn't there already. Now, let's flip the group to the other side. You can do this by selecting the group, moving the pivot point to the middle, then under scale X, type in -1. Because we marked instance as we duplicated the objects are connected through mesh and UVs. Now that we mirrored legs, we need to create the crotch, through which we will connect legs to the jacket. Let's first bridge the hole between the legs. If we select the entire edge loop of the legs and look at polycount display, you can see there are 14 edges in selection. But if you remember, the jacket has 16. We need 2 more edges into the pants. Use multicut to add a cut into the middle. Go to the crotch, select those 2 vertices and move them downwards. Now select the entire pants edge loop and extrude it. The pants have the shape of a number 8, but we want it to be more circular. Move the vertices from the center. Select the edge loop again, extrude it, then move vertices again to get a nice circular shape. Push the vertices out a bit at his front part because, well, he's a boy. This looks okay. Turn on the jacket layer. Oh dear, the pants are clipping with the jacket. Let's isolate the pants, select the edge loop and use soft selection to scale them slightly inwards. When you scale the pants, make sure that you're scaling it so they are touching the inner faces of the jacket. Just a bit more. It should be okay now. When you're done, select both objects and combine them. We need to have pants and jacket edge loop at the same height. Select pants edge loop and straighten it with a scale tool, then snap it to the jacket's edge. Hold V to do that. Go inside the model. We need to bridge this hole. Turn the symmetry on. We need to slide the vertices on pants a bit. You can see that the edges are not at the same length or positions, so let's slide vertices a bit. Hold Ctrl Shift while moving them to do this. Select opposing edges and bridge them. I'll slide the rest of the vertices and bridge them too. Because of the bridging and sliding the vertices, some vertices lower on the pants stick out a bit too much. So select them, go to Edit Mesh and select Average Vertices. I'll rename the object as body_mesh and I'll delete all the history. And for the finishing touch, I'll rename the objects in the outline. There we go! Great job, all of you! We've made legs, shoes and shoelaces and connected them together. In the next video, we will create hands, which we will combine and connect to the jacket. If you've liked this video guide so far, please feel free to check out our YouTube channel for other guides. Follow us on social media to see what we're up to, and until next time, I wish you all happy modeling. See you!